absolutely ridiculous. They'll believe anything. They'll believe anything. Maybe Ho 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 ho! Welcome back to the 没想法 channel. Right, Abby, Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas, Richard.
And Merry Christmas to everybody at home, and Merry Christmas to Santa over here. So yeah, as you can see, it is 25th December, and we're here doing a show for you guys. So Abby, how are you?
Yeah, great.
Great. Okay, good. So we haven't really lost our minds. I don't think either Abby or I are really that much Christmassy people, but for this year we thought, so much has been taken from people because of current events. So we should definitely try to do something, just something traditional, right?
Traditional, something happy thing or a ritual thing, like to make life more a little bit different and create some memory.
Sure, something kind of cultural, right? We shouldn't forget culture and all these things.
Yes.
So we're going to be talking, we're going to be eating today. We've got little baby bottles of champagne. Yeah, we're going to be doing our thing. In fact, maybe I should try and open this now.
Right now?
Yeah.
Although I was hangover. I'm hangover right now.
Okay.
But
nice.
I still can drink.
Okay.
A little bit.
All right, good. So let's try and see how this goes. Oh, good, it doesn't have a cork. I was about to say I'm a bit worried that I might mess all over you. So let's give some to you.
Oh, right. Thank you.
There we go.
Yes.
And some for me.
You want some Santa?
I'm sure you'd love some, right? When I was a kid, my parents used to do Santa and the whole huge tree, and we used to leave a beer for Santa to drink.
Oh.
Yeah, instead of milk and cookies, it was cookies and a beer. So cheers, Abby.
Cheers.
Merry Christmas to you.
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
New Year. Right. Okay. Oh, that's good. So, yeah, as we said, we're going to try and get into the spirit of things and obviously still talk about some issues, as we always do. But, yeah, let's get straight into it, Abby. So, what's the fear level like at the moment, do you think? The level of fear in society. How much fear do you think people are feeling?
I think it is above death. I think it's more about...
But what's the level? Would you say 10, 5, 0? What do you think the level
for
of fear
Taiwan?
is? Yeah.
If it's for Taiwan, I think it's like a 7.
Still
6,
a 7, right? Okay. Actually, I would agree with you. Do you know, I went to the doctor yesterday, a urologist. Do you know urologist? It's kind of the pee doctor, right? Because I thought I had an infection. Luckily, I don't. But anyway, I went to see this guy yesterday, and I went into the office, and his waiting room was really... Because people have kind of gotten complacent. They're not following the COVID thing that seriously. But not this guy. His office was really, socially distanced, tape over chairs. You couldn't sit.
Lots of rules and restrictions.
Yeah, but then the interesting thing was I went into his office, and I had my little piece of paper with my number. And I tried to put it on the table and give it to him. He's like, nope. And he said, nope.
Put it in there. Don't touch.
Don't touch it. And then he said, right, do you have your healthcare card? I was like, sure. I tried to give it to him. He's like, nope. Here's the machine. You do it. Right, push it again. Yeah. And then I looked more closely at this guy, and he's wearing a proper N95, and he had the goggles on. He wouldn't even lean forward. He was talking to me, leaning backwards.
Lean back.
So I think maybe you're right, like a 7. I could have.
Some people still feel really
fearful.
Yeah. Fearful.
And I saw some people still wearing that plastic visor.
Visor.
Visor. Yeah.
But when they take MRT or high speed train, you can look at people wearless. Still wearless.
So it's pretty insane, I think, because we haven't had a real local case in probably 6 weeks.
I don't know, but it's
long time,
long
right?
enough.
Yeah.
For
we had one was because a woman in a lab got bitten by a rat. So that doesn't really count for me. And then I think there was one more at the quarantine hotel from the airport, but that wasn't local spread. But apart from that, I think it's been about 6 weeks with 0 local spread, local cases, and yet the fear level is still high, right? Yeah. I was shocked yesterday. I thought, this is a doctor. He should at least know. Hey, there aren't cases, but yeah, he looked terrified.
I think it depends on the doctors.
Sure, but he's a urologist, right? I mean, he's looking at people's penises and stuff all day. Like, I don't think like you're going to get COVID from someone's penis, right? So much. Like, if you're a normal...
You don't know what's a variant.
Maybe there's like a penis variant. Yeah, COVID P. P19. Okay, sure. Okay. But I mean, like, if you're an ENT, an ear, nose, and throat doctor, I can say you probably think, hey, maybe someone's coming, might have it. But a urologist? Like, I got COVID. Where? Someone showed me his pee-pee and I got COVID. So it's a bit strange.
Sorry.
All right. Well, anyway, but yeah, the fear level. So in Taiwan, it's high, but it looks like in other countries, they're trying to push the fear higher, right? It looks
you can see the media or the government's restriction laws, or even the hospital or the pharmaceutical, their announcement looks like the world is going to end. The feeling is like going to end.
And especially in the newspapers, and I'm watching like the BBC every day. Like, I've been finding it pretty interesting. So let's show people one quickly. I mean, this is just one newspaper clip. And as you can see here, Omicron threatens normal Christmas, right? Okay, so there's a new variant. It's called Omicron, and maybe it's threatening Christmas. But do you think that fear is justified?
I don't think so, because from what I read, Omicron symptom is mild symptoms.
Yeah, mild, yeah. Very
mild,
similar to just like having a cold, I've seen some people say, right?
Yeah, so I don't know why it's the red.
Sure. And then they keep talking about how fast it's spreading, and it's doubling every 2 days. And I've seen a whole lot of stuff like that. But as you say, you've heard that it's quite mild, right? I think many people have heard this, right?
But yes, and you can see, I don't know, like kind of news, maybe just spread from US or European.
It does seem to be like that.
But if you look at other countries' news, maybe the words are not really strong.
Sure.
You know?
And then I want to show you guys something else. I mean, this is the CNN, and you can see here, Biden warns of winter of severe illness and death for unvaccinated due to Omicron. That sounds pretty serious. A winter of severe illness and death, right? I mean, and that's coming from like your leader of your country. That's pretty strong words.
Yeah. It seems kind of you have to protect your country.
Yeah. But it just seems like if your leader is saying something like this, that's going to have quite an effect. It's going to like up that level of fear. That's why I asked you the question about what the level of fear is, because I think that the level is definitely affected by the message coming from the people, from the people in charge. Okay, so we've got this Biden warning of this winter of severe illness and death. So let's talk quickly about what Abby was saying. Like, does this actually make sense? Like, what do we know about Omicron? So if you look here, you'll see this is about South Africa, and they say most Omicron patients in South Africa are recovering with simple, easy treatment, says Dr. Kutsia. That was that woman who's been running things from the beginning. So as you can see there, most people seem to be recovering. So what we should do as well is have a look at go into Google and see. Okay. Now, if you have a look here, you'll see that these are the different waves. I think that was the initial wave. Then this was Alpha. Then this is Delta. And then Omicron. But it's quite interesting if you look at it, because it went up and it reached like an all-time high, but it's already dropping. That's really interesting for me to see that the cases, at least, spiked up and very quickly spiked down.
All right.
It actually seems to have done that before. Okay.
But if it is like a spread fast and quick, it should be like more like continuous for a long time.
Yeah, I suppose, but a lot of people have had COVID, so they have natural immunity.
You mean they have a basic immunity, like they survive from Alpha and Delta? Sure,
so the more people who get it, the more people have natural immunity. Plus, I mean, let's have a look at South Africa's vaccinations. Not too high. Like 26% have had 2 doses, so, pretty small there. And then what we should look at is deaths.
Oh?
That's where it gets interesting, right? So, I mean, Biden is warning of a winter of severe illness and death. Sorry. It's Christmas. I had to go for it. So, where's the death in South Africa, where they kind of almost found this thing first? I don't see the death.
Where is the death?
Where is the death? Yeah, we don't want the death. We're just asking where it is, right? And then I saw this. Somebody else made like a picture. Let's zoom in a little bit. And you can see it there, the Wuhan type, the Alpha type, the Delta type. And you can see every time there was the corresponding increase in deaths with each wave of cases, except for Omicron, where cases up,
But
deaths low. Great news, right?
this sounds
Fantastic.
great.
If you look at that, you're thinking, woohoo, yes, like maybe we're getting through this thing. Maybe we could have some hope for Christmas, because so many people haven't had hope. But instead, what
But
do
it
we
seems
get?
That is not
A
strong.
winter of severe illness and death.
So how do I judge it? How do I make the analysis and the evaluation to this? Just how can we get this conclusion, right?
You'd have to ask Brandon. Sorry, Biden.
Go, Brendan!
Yeah, Brandon's doing his thing, right? So, yeah. So anyway, let's get back to this. So as you can see there, from what we can see from South Africa and what you've heard in the media, it seems to be hopeful.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's dropping again so quickly, again, seems hopeful.
Look at the data, more hopeful than before, right?
But then, as you said, Europe and America, what do we see coming from them? We see fear porn. Right.
Fear porn.
Yeah, fear porn. It's like people. It's not my term.
Some people will ask for fear. It's like it's too peaceful. I can't believe it. I'm suspicious.
Sure.
Give me some fear.
Yeah, so fear porn. I think it's like
Fear
it gets like fear that gets you excited. Yeah, it's not my term. I've heard this coming from someone else. So I would love to take credit for fear porn, but actually it's not my kind of, it's not something I created, right?
But, okay, I think it's a good analogy.
I agree.
Some
It's
people,
pretty
to some
good,
people.
right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, as we can see, that they're trying to make people feel scared. It seems like that, right? And then what's happening in Europe? Have you seen anything that's happening in Europe? I know that they're locking down Netherlands.
Yeah, locking down.
Yeah, and then I've heard Germany is talking about like vaccinating people forcefully. Force vaccinating people. I've heard that they're talking about doing that. I've seen in Austria they're talking they're going to hire people to hunt down the people who...
Hunt down?
Yeah, kind of. Maybe that sounds a little bit too strong, but yeah, hunt and like look for the people who haven't been vaccinated and make sure that they pay.
Pay for what? Pay for the fine?
Pay the fines possibly or whatever, because I think that it's going to fine.
Like a secret police, you can like report your neighborhood.
Yeah, I think it's €40,000 a year.
It's like you can report your teacher, your neighborhood, your family, your parents, and
possibly.
I don't know why something looks like 1984.
Yeah, 1984. There we go. So yes, I mean that's what's happening, and it looks like some of the other European countries are going to be following, possibly doing a lockdown. So the one that we like talking about is Portugal. And if you have a look here, let me show you this first. So here, German health minister calls for immediate forced vaccination of entire population.
Oh, that's it. Young children. Looks like only like 8 years old.
I think that's just a picture. I don't think it's that relevant to the thing, but it's the headline here. Immediate forced vaccination of the entire population, right? So I think that maybe they believe that if they vaccinate everybody, they'll stop this thing.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean that's what they think. I don't agree. I'm saying that maybe that's what they think. So yeah, you can see that. So then, as I said, let's go and have a look at Portugal. And we know from the past, we've talked about this here, that Portugal's eligible population, so the people who can have the vaccine, 98% are vaccinated, right? And this is, where's the date here? Because I actually looked at this like a few weeks ago. So this isn't new. It actually might be even higher. Okay, but 98% of people are vaccinated. But what's happening in Portugal? Portugal imposes post-Christmas COVID-19 curbs. Curbs is like restrictions.
Oh.
So after Christmas, they're going to let people have Christmas, but after that, they're going to have some restrictions. And you can see them here. Portugal on Tuesday ordered nightclubs and bars to close and told people to work from home for at least 2 weeks, starting on Saturday to control the spread. So a place that is 98% vaccinated has to have restrictions again.
I just don't think it's logical, because you think people want to take vaccine because they feel more safe during the COVID, but right now, even they get vaccine, you still lock them down. You don't allow them to go out. So what's the meaning for getting vaccinated? Because you're gonna disappear after 3 months. So after 3 months, you're gonna do it again. But I don't know, just like the solution seems not the solution.
Yeah, and you know what? I actually have a video to show you. I'm going to change it because I was going to use this for our No Idea segment. But it seems like the right time to talk about it. So let's watch this video quickly and you can see. This is the top doctor in Ontario in Canada talking, right? So watch this.
As a twice vaccinated person with no symptoms of COVID-19, should I feel safe or feel it's worth the risk to see a grandparent who's had 3 vaccine shots over the holidays?
I personally would advise you to avoid social contact with anyone older, even with 2 doses. If you are going to interact, I'd do it outdoors with masking and distancing in place. I hope the weather stays reasonable across Ontario to enable that, because I think all of us have to learn from the last 20 months to best protect those that are older in our communities. I'm sorry to recommend that. I'd obviously have to understand your complete situation.
Right, so did you catch that? So the guy said, if I've had 2 vaccines and I have no symptoms, is it safe for me to see my grandparents who've had 3 vaccines? And from the top doctor in Ontario, the answer is no.
So what's the difference if we don't have vaccine?
I agree.
We should follow the same rules.
Yeah, you just caught me. I was going to ask you the same question, right? So like it doesn't seem to make sense. And then what did he say? You need to wear masks and do it outdoors. Now, I know that a lot of people are very invested in the vaccines, but if we just take a step back, never before have I ever, before this, heard of anyone who'd had a vaccine being worried about getting that sickness or spreading that sickness or being in contact with someone. But now we're saying someone who's had 2 vaccines, who doesn't have any symptoms, can't meet with an older person who's had 3 vaccines. What's the point of the vaccine?
Yeah, what's the point?
I thought it was to give you protection. This is the worst protection in the history of humanity. Do it 3 times and you're still worried.
Yes.
I don't get it, right? I really, really don't get it. And then if we go back to what we were just talking about, Germany's answer, immediate forced vaccination of everyone. So what? They're going to force vaccinate everyone and then still say, sorry, you can't see people. You need to wear a mask and do it outdoors.
Just around the circle, but you go back to the original point. You think you have like a double protection besides lockdown and social distancing, mask, but also you have to put the 4th factors protection, means like vaccine, to make you avoid death. But
it doesn't, right? You still need to do all the other things, right?
Yes. Just
I don't get it, right?
I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe some people do, and if you do, maybe you can let us know. But I personally don't understand that. Like, and then with Germany now saying that they want to force vaccinate everybody, what good is that gonna do? Breakthrough cases, people still getting it. It looks like even for Omicron, if you're worried about that you still get it. And then don't quote me on this, but I saw another doctor saying that it looks like double vaccinated people actually have a higher chance of getting Omicron. But then on BBC, they were saying that if you're double vaccinated and then you have the virus, afterwards you get super immunity. So I don't know what's going on, right? I have no idea. Like, yes, you should. No, you shouldn't. You've had it. You can't see people. Yeah. I don't understand.
If you think people gonna have a super immunity, how come the government restrict people, separated people, especially during the Christmas holiday?
So if you're double vaccinated and you've had COVID, now you have super immunity. Can people choose? Say, I don't need super. I just have the normal one.
No more.
Normally, I don't need the super one, right? I don't need like super size like at McDonald's. I just take the standard size, right?
Yeah,
know,
just
I don't
yeah.
know.
I
So
think,
let's
yeah.
go back to Portugal. And we said that 98% of eligible people are vaccinated. All right. Have a look at this. This is from today. Look at where they are.
cases.
Yesterday, or 23rd December, they had 10,500 cases. They only have 10 million people. You
So
can
it's
see
like a-
here. Where's their population? I'm not sure. I know it's 10 million because, someone showed it. I don't know. I've seen it somewhere. But they have like 10 million people, okay? And look at their cases. How is that possible at all if everybody's double vaccinated? I mean, let's have a look at their vaccines. So we know, look, there's a whole lot of boosters happening. We know it's 98% of eligible people. And yet the cases are still spiking. That cannot be those 2% of people who didn't have the vaccine, right? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, like even they get a vaccine, they still can get COVID.
Oh, check, that was yesterday. Almost 13,000 people. And if we go back here and look when it was its highest, 10,000, 15,000. So they were almost back to their highest ever. And they've got 98% vaccinated, plus they're doing the third one. So I know it's funny, but I suppose what we can say to people is if you look at this, vaccines don't seem to stop people from getting sick. They don't seem to. Right.
It still couldn't stop the spread.
So my question then, we'll go back to Germany. Why you want to force vaccinate everybody? And if then you say it's because of death, well, then let's go back to that picture from South Africa, right? Let's have a look here. The deaths look like they're going down. And you might not be sure, but if you're not sure, then why are the media putting out, and Biden, why are they putting out messages of a winter of severe illness and death when that isn't what we're seeing?
Because they're in South Africa, most people didn't get vaccine.
Some
So
of them, yeah.
even they have the cases, they have
Yeah, good point, yeah.
Yeah, but they still survive. So it means you don't need the vaccine to help you survive from this Omicron.
Possibly. Well, we can't say that we know that for sure, but possibly, right? Yeah.
Possibly, at least they didn't
That's how it
cause a huge death as Biden pictured. Because
Sure.
one from what Biden said sounds really important.
Ominous, like something
Ominous.
coming, right?
Yeah, something crazy.
Yeah, and surely you want your leaders to be giving you a balanced viewpoint. And if it's not balanced, my question would be, why isn't it balanced? And you know that what they did in America recently, a lot of states around this Christmas time just put in vaccine mandates.
No.
So it does definitely seem that the thing that's front of mind, that's most important for these people seems to be vaccines. That's all they seem to care about.
I just think people get numb. They are already, maybe some people, they believe about vaccine or believe the fear of COVID. But I think maybe others just feel numb. They just
Sure. But I mean the people in charge. It seems that all they seem to care about is vaccines.
Yeah.
It just looks like it. Everything you see, Germany, immediate forced vaccination. Biden, always vaccines. All they talk about. I'm so fucking sick and tired of hearing about vaccines.
They don't have another solutions or suggestion or try to...
Or a hopeful message. And it's Christmas. There is definitely, from what we see from South Africa, reason for hope. Surely your leader should be saying, hey guys, we're possibly almost through this. Look around. There's definitely some hope. Instead, all we get is vaccines. You're not vaccinated. This winter of severe illness and death.
Right.
Like, come on, man. We use his own words. Come on, man. Huh? Jeez. And you know what? This really affected me because this week I actually felt quite depressed.
This week.
Yeah, I heard about some of these things. I was thinking like, come on, guys. Like, really. And then I heard some people saying that they say COVID will last till 2024. We're not even halfway. I think Bill Gates was one of these people saying it as well, that this thing's going to go much longer. Like, what are you trying to do to people? There's reason for hope. Tell people that. But then even you watch BBC or whatever, they say, oh, yes, it looks like COVID might be, Omicron might be less, but that doesn't mean we're,
Ended.
it's
like
always
a
some other thing. And
So story continues like a
Yeah.
new season, like a series.
Sure. So, like as I said, we look at Portugal, we see their cases going up. Maybe we should just say, look, cases are going to happen. We've talked about this before. And if cases are going to happen, let's accept that and let's think about what we can do when cases go up. But I don't think vaccinations seem to be stopping cases from going up in Portugal.
I think at the beginning they told people it's like a short time. We gonna survive from that. Just you do a little bit sacrifice, then
Yeah.
we can go back to normal life. But it's already like 2 years. We still stay at the same point.
Yeah.
Didn't make any changes. But you can see people already lose lots of things. I mean, like travel or
Sure.
meet their
Loved ones.
loved ones, the family, friends, because lots of people, their families are living in different countries, so they lose the chance to meet each other. And it's already 2 years, so I mean like and life has balance. You have good side and bad side, but you usually the good side maybe comes from like a connection or relationship
Sure.
from your loved ones, but it's gonna decrease. But the bad side is the news keep like
Fear porn.
yeah. like a
Making people scared, right?
make people
Yeah.
scared or again like attack people's mind over and over again. Every time you open the news, it's all about the negative
Sure.
things.
Yeah.
So I don't know how can you gonna change people's life, because right now it's just the beginning. Maybe slowly, when the time extend longer, you can see the side effect. Like you say before, it's like mentally you're gonna have some mentally problem.
But that's true. Suicides are up, mental illness is up, alcoholism is up, drug abuse is up, suicide is up, domestic violence is up. Yeah, and that's from a lot of it is from lockdowns and stuff, right? But what are they doing? I mean, we've had how many years of lockdowns? Have lockdowns stopped the spread anywhere? Doesn't seem like it. Even if it stops for a bit, it keeps coming back, and then they keep locking down again.
Like it looks like a solution, but the solution brings more side effect. But so it's not a good solution, right?
Sure,
So,
but I
yeah.
mean, is it really a solution? Because if you look at the places that lock down, it doesn't seem to really completely stop it. And from what
Yeah.
I've heard, this Omicron is like almost like measles. It's so transmissible. I don't think you're going to stop it. And then all you need is one person in a household to have it and spread it to everyone else in the household. So there are definitely issues with that. So yeah, I don't know. It's really a strange one. I don't particularly understand what's going on. I see a lot of this. I mean, just look at the map there. Look at Europe. I mean, there's so many cases everywhere.
Oh, like a
But-
boom, 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 boom everywhere.
Yeah, but I wonder about deaths. And can we just keep continuing the same thing every single year? Cases go up, lockdowns, blah, 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 talk about vaccines. Like, I don't get what having everybody vaccinated is even going to do. Like, even though the World Health Organization came out this week and they were saying no country will be able to vaccinate their way out of this problem. And what they were also saying is that other countries, poorer countries, need the vaccines. But the larger countries are keeping all the vaccines for themselves. And if you believe in vaccines, they were saying that the way to end this is to get more people around the world to have them. But they can't because the rich countries are keeping all of them.
Oh, they
But-
have a high.
Sure,
need.
but then the rich countries are keeping all of them, and we can see, like even Portugal, 98%, and still cases going up. Doesn't seem to be a solution, right? That's why they're saying it's going to go to 2024. They're just going to keep rinse, repeat, doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know how the those country who didn't get enough vaccine, how does that because the media seldom report their
That's true.
message. Like,
Well, I mean, we've talked about India before, right?
in
So, I mean, if you-
India,
Let's have a look at India, because I know they don't have a high vaccination rate. And they're doing really well. I mean, you look at that and you say, you guys are doing well. And then, yes, they have vaccinations, but they're only up to about 40%. Right? And I don't know if we can say that there's cause and effect there, because the new cases, really dropped there.
they even don't have the Omicron.
Yeah. So something's definitely going on, right? But I think that if you're looking for part of the problem, is a lot of these people who are in government have never worked a day in their lives. They're people who have PhDs, people who've studied a lot, hopefully, but haven't really worked. And I think if you look at the way that they often do their solutions, they're not very effective people, because they don't really know how to work and to do stuff. They just have this assumed knowledge from doing PhDs. So often you look at these people and you think they should be doing a good job. But then I think even like normal people like us look at them and go, dude, what the hell are you guys doing? I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Like we hire them for us to solve the problem, but
But apparently if you go back in history, the percentage of government workers who had PhDs who'd gone to university was way lower.
they're I know, because they lack of the experience, but they're full of knowledge, but they don't know how to use it.
Well, we hope they're full of knowledge. We don't know if they were good students, but they get these degrees. And apparently there are also lots of fake degrees for these guys in politics. Somebody was telling me this yesterday. I don't know if that's
Fake
true.
degrees?
Fake.
Or fake degrees.
Fake degrees, right? So because to get into government, it seems like you need to have a PhD or some fancy degree.
You buy the degree.
You could.
Some people will buy the degree.
Apparently they do.
I don't know how they get it, but I just get it.
But if all you have is studying and you actually haven't had the chance to put that into practice somewhere and learn how to make effective solutions, and then at the same time you believe, oh, well, I have a fancy degree from a fancy university and you should listen to me because I have all the knowledge. What's going to happen, right? You're going to have all these people who believe they know everything, who are very ineffectual, and you start to see it in their policies. And the worst part is the arrogance, because they won't admit that they've been wrong. And every year they keep doing the same thing. And I suppose that's why you see Germany. Let's force vaccinate everyone. So our thinking is not working. What do? Do it more. Do it harder.
Oh, the feeling, like...
Well, because we're smart. We know what we're talking about. Yeah, but you're thinking, we know. We have 20 PhDs in this room. Who cares? If you made a mistake, say you made a mistake. Change policies. Do something different.
Just admit it and hire someone, or let someone good to deal with it.
Sure.
Not just for your face, just like how to say,
Sure.
just for your repetition, but you try to give the order, but it's not effective.
Sure. So somebody was telling me about a book about this yesterday, which is about meritocracy. I forget what the guy said.
Meritocracy?
And the guy was explaining that meritocracy has some bad things, because now a lot of people have gone to university, and people who don't go to university, it's almost like you're a failure if you haven't gone to university. So it's created this thing where people who haven't done that feel pretty bad about themselves, but people who have gone to university and got PhDs from fancy schools really kind of believe that they are almost better than everybody. And you see that with this, because these guys believe they know everything. They've studied so much, they couldn't possibly be wrong.
They think they are smarter than others. I know the feeling, like because sometimes I would meet the people who have higher degree, especially for PhD. You can see how elegant they talk.
Sure.
But you know, it just you study for like just spatial specific field. You couldn't know everything, right?
true.
So you have to respect for others, but they just don't know how to be humble.
Sure, or admit when they're wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
Sure. And we've talked about this a lot on this channel, right? I mean, if these guys had said, listen, let's just rethink this, let's try something different. And on that, there are some doctors talking about doing things in a different way. Okay, so I want to show you something here. It's called the Great Barrington Declaration.
Barrington is like a...
This is a name.
No.
Okay. And this is a group of people, and you can see they've got 900,000 signatures. Okay. And they say here, as infectious disease epidemiologists and public health scientists, we have grave concerns about the damaging physical and mental health impacts of the prevailing COVID-19 policies and recommend an approach we call focused protection. So this is a group of people involved in public health, scientists, doctors, who are all saying the way we're doing this, the current policies are not great, and we should do it a different way. Right?
Right.
And I think that even though we're not scientists, we can look at this and we can say, hey, this is true. The current way doesn't seem to be working. What else could we do?
Yeah, at least we can discuss other things, right?
Sure. So I found, I don't want to read that because it's very long, but then this is what these guys were basically saying, right? That Omicron variant has led politicians and public health people to call for a return to business closures and lockdowns. And then they go through it and they say, but you know, we were the guys who did this Barrington Declaration. And then they talk about South Africa and they say it looks more transmissible, but is a milder disease like we talked about. And his message is this: we can't stop the spread of COVID, but we can end the pandemic.
The fear pandemic.
Yeah, just end the pandemic, right? So he says in October 2020, I wrote the Barrington Declaration with other professors. And the centerpiece of this is a call for increased focused protection of the vulnerable older population who are more than 1,000 times more likely to die than the young. So we can protect the vulnerable without harming the rest of the population. As I stated above, we do not have any technology that can stop viral spread. And that's true, right? I mean, how many years have we been going through this? We haven't managed nowhere. Even like Australia, New Zealand kept it out for a long time. Taiwan kept it out, but we still had it eventually. And if Taiwan opens the borders without quarantine, we'll definitely have it here again. So we don't have the technology to stop it. And then he says, while excellent vaccines protect the vaccinated versus hospitalization or death if infected, they provide only temporary and marginal protection versus infection and disease transmission after the second dose. So we all know this. The vaccines lose their efficiency, efficacy over time. So they also talk about lockdowns not being a good thing because, you know, he said it here, it's abundantly clear that they have failed to contain the virus while wreaking enormous collateral damage worldwide. Collateral damage is what we were talking about, the mental health problems, the alcoholism, all that kind of stuff. So there are doctors, okay, and they are talking about a different way. And they've created this Great Barrington Declaration. So it isn't like there is no voice pushing a different way. There is definitely. You can see it right here. So let me show you how King Fauci dealt with this. Him and his friend. Yeah, King. I'm calling him a king because he's a doers. Sorry. Okay, so. Emails expose. Emails expose Fauci Collins collusion to smear anti-lockdown scientists. Smear is like
attack?
To attack and say something like
push down,
make somebody look bad. Right? So it says here, from October 2nd to 4th, 2020, the American Institute for Economic Research hosted a small conference for scientists to discuss the COVID-19 lockdowns. Just 4 days later, Dr. Francis Collins, the retiring director of the National Institutes of Health, would call 3 of the scientists in attendance fringe epidemiologists in a directive he sent to Anthony Fauci and other senior staff of his agency. So these people that they're trying to smear, these 3, were the people who did the Great Barrington Declaration that we were talking about. Okay? They were fringe epidemiologists because they had the temerity to ask whether the lockdowns were effective. So they questioned the lockdowns. So those 3, okay? Martin Kulldorff of Harvard, Sunetra Gupta of Oxford, and Jay Bhattacharya of Stanford. So we've got Harvard, Oxford, and Stanford. And they were questioning the science. Isn't that what science is about? Questioning. The whole root of science is having a question. So they were questioning whether the lockdowns worked, right? And for that, these guys wanted to smear them. And I've got it here. You can actually have a look at the email. Here it is here. So this is one of the leaked emails. And you can see here, the guy says, "Hi, Tony." That's Tony Fauci and Cliff. See the Great Barrington Declaration. This proposal from the 3 fringe epidemiologists who met with the secretary seems to be getting a lot of attention. And even a co-signature from Nobel Prize winner Mike Levitt at Stanford. There needs to be a quick and devastating published takedown of its premises. I don't see anything like that online yet. Is it underway?
No.
So there are 3 scientists. They've done this Great Barrington Declaration. Now another scientist from Stanford is signing along. We need to take them down.
So did you do that yet? We have to take it down. Let's say it's older. Francis or...
Well, they did after that, yeah. Because after that, then they started producing stories and messages in the media saying these guys weren't good.
That's last year.
Yeah.
2020. Okay.
So, as we can see here, right, there are other voices. They are scientists. They work at the top universities in the whole world, and they are questioning lockdowns. And when they question lockdowns, and they were in meetings with Fauci and these people together, as soon as you go against the story, they're going to try and take you down and smear you.
No. Seems like they are not... They don't allow another voice against them.
Yeah. So they said here, so why was this guy so intent on doing this? And they said, look, it's hard to know. Because any scientist that was any good should have been happy to see, should have been happy to see further research being done.
Some other ideas or some research.
You see, he says, because that is, after all, how ignorance is replaced by knowledge. By questioning, by discussing.
Yeah.
But they weren't in the mood to do this. So again, why? And then Fauci, Francis Fauci wrote, I am pasting in below a piece from Wired that debunks the Great Barrington Declaration. Their science reporter, Matt Reynolds, told us there was no scientific divide over herd immunity, but that's not the funny part. The funny part came when Reynolds declared quite confidently we no longer had anything to worry about as lockdowns were a thing of the past. So, these guys try to smear people who have a different opinion. And why? Because as we were just talking about this now, the way they're doing it doesn't seem that effective. Why, if it's not that effective, won't you listen to the other opinions in the room? Unless you're scared to be wrong, you don't want to lose your reputation, you think you know everything because you're so smart. But I don't care about their egos, I care about our lives.
It's better to open the door and have them to get some conversation, right? You know them, but since what they do is you are too afraid of those science might ruin their reputation or their plan or their just their face, makes them look bad.
Sure.
So
that's the best case. The best case is that they're doing this because it's their face and their reputation. If you go all the way to the other side, they're doing this intentionally for some other reasons, maybe. But I don't want to get into any of that. Who knows where the truth really is? But we can see there that there are doctors, scientists with another view, and as soon as they speak, they try and stop them and discredit them. And at the same time, the ways they're doing things aren't working. And finally, we see that we have some hopeful thing coming out, and at the same time, they're pushing the fear porn, panic porn again.
No.
So, I don't get it.
Just the whole thing is suspicious.
And for the people going along with this, for the people who agree with Germany force vaccinating, who agree that we should lock the unvaccinated out of society, and just looking towards the future, what do you people want? Is this the world you want going forward? Do you want for the rest of your life, if you have kids, to be getting every 3-4 months, giving them vaccines that may or may not hurt them, may work? I mean, this is never going to go away if we allow this.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you travel on planes, you're always going to need the vaccine passports. Is this the world you want to live in? And what about the next virus and the next virus? And then it's going to be coming like 3 or 4 different vaccines every few months. And then you can't do anything if you haven't had vaccines. And your whole life is run by this idea of vaccines all the time. That's where this is going to go.
Huh. Like their life couldn't live without vaccine.
Yeah.
What they do, they're gonna have like the vaccine.
Sure. And once they have this system with the QR codes with enough people in the world,
Mm-hmm.
then they got everybody following this thing, then it's easy. Then it's just, well, if you haven't done it, no access to society.
Make you like an outsider, like savage.
Yeah,
Or
2
just-
different layers of society, right? So again, my question is this where anyone who supports this, is this where you want to see this thing going? Is this where you want society to go? I mean, I know you're afraid and you read the news, but is this where you want this thing to go?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some people say yes. Maybe. For me, no. I like freedom. I like people to have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, flu kills a lot of people every year. I never had the flu shot. I didn't want it. I have had other vaccines. Got no issue. But surely choice.
Yeah, if the people want to take a risk, then
Sure.
that's their right.
And if somebody says, hey, listen, you want to take a risk with this thing, you pay your own medical fees, I'm cool. I'll be like, sweet. I'll pay for that if I get sick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For COVID sake.
Yeah.
But some people will say even for another disease, you get problem, you have to pay. You couldn't use the insurance.
Which other disease?
I forgot it, but just like
You mean the other stuff people get vaccinated for?
just you didn't get vaccine. I think it's Singapore or just like
You can't use the healthcare system.
yeah, you couldn't use
Yeah.
the health system.
That's a bit hard, right?
Mm.
Because I think it should be specific about this thing. But I mean, people get vaccines for all sorts of things these days, like chickenpox and measles and mumps.
Mm.
I've had all 3. I've had chickenpox. I've had measles. I've had mumps. I'm still alive. yeah. Yeah. And you know what the best part about that is? If you've had chickenpox, you're protected for life. If you have the vaccine, you need to have boosters. So I'm cool, man. I can go anywhere. I've had all 3. I'm sweet.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mean you already had chicken part?
Yeah, I've had all 3
All
when I
right.
was a kid, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I was pretty okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the past, we would have chickenpox parties. If somebody had chickenpox, the parents would take their kids to that house and let you play with that boy.
Then boy also
So that
get
you could get chickenpox all at the same time, get it out of the way, have it
Yeah.
finished.
let's say when you are young you get chicken part is much safer. But
Yes.
when you get older like
Because when you're older, you can get shingles, another sickness, I think, at the same time, which is quite bad, yeah.
all right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not anti-vaccine, though. I mean, people want to have those, fine. But, yeah, you know. It's interesting, right?
I think want people yeah, because that's what people will think. That's repeating like people will think, oh, people should get vaccine to protect others. But look at this,
It doesn't seem to make sense, right?
it doesn't make sense.
Would you like a donut?
Yes, woohoo!
Which one? The
What's
pink
the flavor? Pink is strawberry
and chocolate and vanilla.
and strawberry.
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
nice.
Nice.
Enjoy. Yeah, we said we were going to eat today, so we have to eat. Right.
We make promise.
Yeah, we made a promise. We're going to eat, so we're going to eat. Right. So I think we kind of finished this topic for today, right? There is definitely
Yes.
reason to be hopeful. And if you're trying to look for that hope, please don't watch the news. And please don't read the mainstream media.
You
Because
just-
all they're going to do is try and make you feel afraid.
Rest from the news for a while. You will feel more free.
Sure, just watch us all the time. It'll be cool. But also, yeah, just from what we saw from South Africa, you know, big jump in cases and immediately a drop. Let's hope we see this in other places. If this thing spreads this quickly, I heard somewhere in the news today, I think they said in the UK, like 1 in 20 people is sick. 1 in 20. That's crazy at the moment. So hopefully people get it. It's not bad. It quickly drops. Many people get kind of natural immunity, and hopefully we can be done with this thing long before 2024. Please, God.
Please,
Yeah.
just end it.
Yeah. And then we
Couldn't
can get
sustain
past
it.
it, right?
Mm.
So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that one. Please, there is hope. I didn't feel that hope too much this week, but I think there definitely is hope. And yeah, let's use common sense and let's hold these people accountable. One day this thing will be over, and I think there are going to be lots of questions to ask.
Yeah.
All these people who think that they got PhDs and they're so smart, we need to start asking some serious questions. Maybe that's why some of them want to prolong this thing, because they're worried about what happens when it's over. Because we're going to have some real questions for these people.
They're going to take it.
Right, so should we move to our next segment?
Yeah.
Okay, right, we'll be back in a bit.
Bye-bye.